Dave, what's the opening statement on this one?
All right, my opening statement, first of all, this is great to be back. My opening statement is, so I love network television, as everyone knows, and I watch a lot of local news.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of trailers, a lot of different trailers for the winter premiere of A Million Little Things. And we got the ones narrated by Gary. Then tonight I heard one narrated by Maggie. I'm like, you know what? This is like 7 o'clock Central Time now.
Yeah.
Once I heard the Gary one, I'm like, you know what? They should do a trailer for each character. Well, I was texting you guys earlier in the night about me picking up a bottle of Cab.
Yeah.
As I walked in,
Cabernet for the uninitiated.
Cabernet. As I walked in, I heard a commercial with Maggie narrating. So my conclusion is, they didn't do one for every character, but I thought it would have been cool because there were so many trailers. There was the generic ABC one. There was one where a lot of John dialogue was going on, and then Gary, of course. But tonight they debuted the Maggie and Rome ones. I don't know if you guys saw anyone else, you know, whether Gina did one, but I thought it would have been cool if leading up to this over the last several weeks, they had a trailer narrated by each character and have their point of view.
Sort of from each perspective.
Yes.
You could do like a recut of the show from 4 different angles.
Yes.
Yeah. They're leaning into the marketing a little bit. They changed up the time slot. We're at an earlier time slot now, which is we're Thursday, 9/8 Central?
Later day, early time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the numbers, I feel like that bodes well for the numbers for them, how much advertising they're putting into it, and the numbers are better for us lately. Our listenership is up significantly without us doing an episode. Maybe that's the key. We shouldn't be doing episodes, and then people love it. So let's reintroduce ourselves. I'm Kevin. I'm here with Dave Miller in Chicago, and Jamie is running the soundboard for the first time from New York.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
If anything goes wacky, it's because I'm running the board here. I'm just dripping sweat, chain smoking. I don't know what's happening.
But yeah, we're back at it's the winter premiere. What Jamie is holding up.
Just aim your face at the mic. I know it's weird because you're talking at me.
Right. Okay. Yeah. We're working with some new equipment here.
Basically, Dave and Kevin need to like lock eyes across from the microphone,
at each other.
Like Lady and the Tramp style, but with podcasting.
Yeah. Jamie just held up a note, sort of like, for those of you who've seen Lost, was it not Penny's boat?
Yeah.
She held up a note in the Skype to tell us what to do. But yeah, we're back. It's episode 11. Million Little Things, and let's give a quick rundown of what happened here today.
Title is Secrets and Lies, which could be the title of almost literally every episode.
Yeah, pretty much the whole thing is Secrets and Lies, I guess. So, but
and also, I feel like that's, like Dave mentioned, like there's definitely, I mean, you know, welcome to the new, grittier Million Little Things, according to the advertising. Like, they're really playing up the mystery and the drama and the secrets and the lies. So, and they also did, like at the beginning, we get sort of like a series trailer for all the recent hop-ons.
Yeah, it's a real reboot.
Yes, and Kevin mentioned, Jamie, when we were watching together here in Chicago, a lot of exposition. I thought, you know, for a new audience, obviously, on a new night, and we have to keep in mind that they ordered new episodes, after, like, episode 5? Remember when they... So they probably knew going in, the ABC execs probably knew back in October, November, maybe they were going to have this, with the numbers being good, be a Thursday thing. Yeah. So I think that's why maybe we got a lot of exposition.
And now it's an intriguing emotional mystery, is the quote.
Well, they're smooshed between Grey's Anatomy and How to Get Away with Murder. Like, you guys got to up your game because, I mean, I accidentally saw the first few minutes of How to Get Away with Murder, and Jesus Christ, there was a gay wedding, there was a murder, there was someone washing blood off in the tub. I was like, freaking A, okay.
Damn. Is that a Shonda show? Mm-hmm. You know? That's a Shonda Rhimes show. Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't see how it could not be.
It does seem like the Shonda Rhimes plan for shows is that every episode is a series finale.
Yeah, yes, 100%, which is too much for me, but I respect it.
Sure, yeah, go balls out all the time.
So now we're in a little Shonda sandwich now.
Yeah. Yeah, shipped a little earlier. So this is what we got today. Basically, I'm going to give a quick rundown of what happened, then we'll get into it detail-wise. John starts with a video, a little what appears to be like a suicide note via video, and he's apologizing, but he's apologizing to Barbara. The twist. There's a 5K for mental health, and it's really everyone's running this 5K. We had a tweet from our friend, Alchemy Girl, who asked, why is everyone running marathons in TV in general? I do think marathon kind of things might be overrepresented on television, but then we go Maggie going through chemo. Delilah owes $18 million, she finds out. She's screwed on whatever this real estate situation that John's been working.
That's a lot of $1 million.
It's a lot of $1 million, more than you just can find around. Rome is off his meds. Rome fucks. This episode,
that's what I wrote down, believe it or not.
Yeah, I do believe it. Rome fucks. Gina's stressed out.
I put a lot of U's in it, though.
Yeah, yes. Danny comes out as Polly. Just kidding. He does not. And then
Danny's coming out.
Maggie really wants to run. She's stressed out about it. She's trying to keep a little bit of her normal life. And then we find out there's a big mystery around the name Rutledge, and we find out what that is, and we find out a little bit of why Ashley has been hella low-key sneaky.
Yes, we see with Rutledge, we get the elevator scene. We get them in the elevator when they first met.
Yeah.
Flashback.
Yeah, exactly. So we find out the significance of Rutledge. So what do you want to start with, Jamie? What's the first thing you want to jump on?
Danny's coming out. He wants the world to know. Gonna let Elliot show.
Danny comes out. He was pretty cash about it.
It was pretty cash. It was my forget Rutledge, forget all that. That was my one of the episode. They're basically, I mean, we're skipping a few things, but Sophie doesn't want to do the 5K that she organized, apparently. And Danny wants to go, and they're like, oh, it's because that girl you like is going to be there. And Danny's like, well, and Gary's like, you don't have to do this. And Danny's like, no, I do have to do this. And he just kind of low-key, not sneaky, says...
Not sneaky, low-key truthful. Low-key living best life.
Low-key truthful, says Ella isn't a girl, Ella's Elliot. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier, but I didn't want to disappoint you. And then, of course, everybody loves him and hugs him and thinks it's great and adorable. And they meet Elliot at the race, and they say hi to him, and it's the cutest.
And Elliot, who may not be gay, but we don't know that Elliot is, right?
I guess not.
I mean, it's
Elliot's
an
gay.
intriguing emotional mystery. So yeah, we're still off the hook.
It's true. Well, I'll tell you what. If I don't know, if Elliot's not gay, he's pretty thirsty for Danny's friendship, because at the beginning he shows up with his allowance money to give Danny for this anti-suicide 5K that he's gonna do. And I feel like he gives it to him in a cool way, not like a dorky way. He's like, yeah, sure, like I just want to help out, whatever. And then he has blue lips because he got a slushie on his way over and spent some of the run money on that.
That's kind of the like child version of like having a drink to calm your nerves before you have a drink before you go on a date. Like he just hammers a slushie real quick.
Exactly.
I hope he is being himself, because this family's gone through enough, and I don't think Danny deserves any more emotional turmoil.
Danny does not deserve more emotional turmoil.
I know. Well, what I wrote was like Danny. Because he's talking to Elliot, and he's like, do you want to hang out? And Danny's like, yeah. And then it's like mom shows up, and he knows his mom's going through stuff. He's like, oh, I should probably just go inside and help with stuff. I was like, damn it. He got screwed out of a blue slushy gay kiss because of all his mom's stupid drama. It's all I want. Yeah. Anyway, but so I was all ready to complain about there not being any Danny, because they gave us a little bit and then not anymore. Like they gave us the slushy moment, and I was like, that's probably going to be it. And then we got Danny coming out. So you know what? I'm happy. It's a thumbs up Danny for the episode.
And kid-wise, Dave was commenting.
Yeah, give Danny Theo's lines. I'm just not a big Theo guy. I'm sorry.
I'm still pro Theo, but yes. I mean, I'll always pick Danny over Theo, even though Theo is just in his underwear and in this this episode.
I wrote down two things about Theo. I wrote down as soon as Theo started talking, I wrote Theo's back on his bullshit, and then I wrote Theo's a snitch. And before I said any of that, Dave from the other end of Dave's apartment here just said, Theo's got to go. We're kind of burying Theo over here. Not, again, no fault of the actor, but, you know, we got to be truthful.
Well, I'll go ahead and say my conspiracy theory for the episode then, because he is... We'll get into it later. He's sort of a tattletale, but he's FaceTiming with his dad, who's on tour, and Is he? Not
he's
really.
Not even on tour.
He comes back for a 5K.
Go back to that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he comes back for a 5K. It's like, man, okay, all right, you're on a bus. You turned the whole bus around for anyway.
No, he's not on tour. This is fake as hell. Yeah. Go ahead.
And he doesn't know about all the $18 million stuff. And then basically, what is Theo just says, like, something about, like, Delilah's troubles or something like that. And he's like, what? He's like, people think I'm reading, but I'm also listening. Like, he's like he's just sitting in a corner reading, and people think that he doesn't hear them talking about, like, their $18 million problems, but he's like, but I'm listening. So my conspiracy is that Theo is actually an Alexa in little boy human form.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why he knows all those facts.
He's a house monitoring system, yeah. Or he's like those cartoons, like a Pink Panther situation where he has a newspaper in front of his face with the eye holes cut out. And it's like, watching all this shit go down. He's cartooning on us.
Yeah, but that was definitely Theo on his bullshit. People think I'm reading, but I'm also listening. I mean,
Theo, no one thought you were reading.
Yeah. Although, same Theo. That was me for a lot of school, too, but I didn't go blabbing it, because then they can trace it back to you. Who else was in the room? That fucking paper with eyeballs. It was you.
No, it was Jamie the whole time. Jamie Theo. Cool. Yeah, so that's good. Fun little... Yeah, Danny comes out. That's a nice moment. Sort of... It's one of those things that could have been in any episode.
Yeah.
It's not really within the plot line, but it's a nice little side thing.
Well, he does bring it back to John, though. There is a moment, because a lot of this is finding out, like, people are finally finding out that John is not the man that everybody thinks he is. And Danny says, I guess I didn't tell you about being gay because I wanted to be who, you thought I was. And then he says, maybe that's what Dad was doing. He was pretending because he wanted to be the person we thought he was. It's like, holy shit. Danny just used his coming out to, like, get everybody, because he was, like, pro-Dad the whole time, even when Sophie was sort of like, he's a liar. So it's like, dang, you came out and you got everyone on your side and to the 5K that you wanted to go to. It's like, he is a schemer. Good job, Danny.
Yeah, Danny should be president. Also, I wrote down, he kind of sounds like a young Christian Slater. He's kind of got like Danny has a little bit of a, like, I just woke up hungover voice.
He does remind me of someone. I can't pinpoint it.
Yeah, it's hard to figure. Dave, what plot line do you want to jump to next?
I mean, I want to go for the jugular. Gary standing behind John through everything.
Gary really is having John's back a lot. Basically, because there's the big revelation about that John has left his wife with, I mean, first of all, a whole life to run with his with his kids, etc., but also with $18 million in debt. And all this is coming out, and Gary, I think I'm using the phrase right, keeps standing for John. Am I using that right, Internet people? Internet children? Theo, write in. Tell me if I'm using standing right. Or really, Danny, you write in.
Yeah. Danny, help.
Yeah, but Gary is like, he's the one who keeps being like, no, there must be something else. Right?
Yeah, a lot of this doesn't make sense. He would take care of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely, especially, I mean, you're considering now Gary dealing with the Maggie situation. He's there for her with the cancer like John was for him, so he's almost indebted.
Yeah,
it almost feels like he's indebted.
He feels like he's picking up for John, like he's basically taking over John's role, even with John's own family.
Fatherly.
Right.
Yeah. And he is sort of like doing for Maggie. There's a lot of like Maggie is him and he is John in this episode. Like, you know, he's in the room helping her through the cancer. And then like he talks about when they're at the race, he says he's, you know, we were all friends, but we didn't get John over the finish line. And then he gets Maggie over the finish line. I guess by finish line for John, he means like dying of old age. But for Maggie, then he literally helps get her over the finish line in the 5K. So there's like a lot of that back and forth.
Sure, a little on the nose stuff. Also, Gary says, first of all, he keeps saying, I was kind of team Delilah when Gary was like, I refuse to believe that. He just abandoned us. Because, like, man, you better start believing it. This guy's fucking
that shit happened, yo.
Like, she's known him longer than you. It was way more tight. You met him in an elevator and were pretty good friends for a while. That's great. But at some point, fucking scoreboard, man. It's like John is at best not a great guy at this point. And
Delilah appropriately is like, fuck that. I'm pretty mad right now.
Yeah. And
I have 18 million little reasons why.
Yeah.
And I still need timeline. I still need to know how long they've known each other in terms of years. Yeah. I don't think we've gotten that.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it's like 5, maybe.
I was going to say, because we definitely... Yeah, I feel like it's in that range. It's not like... I keep thinking of that because it's not crazy long. These are not lifelong friends because it's like, obviously they look basically the same as when they met. And like Theo was born when they were friends. And like, you know, Theo's, how old is Theo?
Age-wise?
Yeah.
Theo could be 43. Theo could also be 2. I don't know.
Because he was still, Eddie the Wiener was still an alcoholic, you know, rock star guy. I feel like early in the friendship.
Right.
And then,
that's a really good point.
And
so it's as old as the kid, basically.
So it's like about as old as Theo, a little bit more, I think.
I can't tell how old kids are.
Yeah. No.
I think Theo might be 7. No, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I think he might be 7.
Right. You probably have a better grasp on just kid ages than me or Jamie, because you're
like 11 nieces and nephews.
Yeah. 11 nieces and nephews? Yeah. Dave is America's uncle, Dave Miller.
Crazy Uncle Dave.
Yeah, it's a great crazy
Drinking cab on a Thursday doing a pod.
Yeah, with his Canadian friend and wife in lovely downtown Chicago. We should do a Facebook Live right after, or Insta Live right after this. Really pump those numbers for our new listeners.
Hell yes.
Yeah, that's it. Do you guys have any really close? Do you guys have any friends who you would consider like kind of inner circle friends who you've made in the last, like, let's say 6 years or 7 years?
6 years. Oh man, now I'm gonna have to do math and also think about.
Is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Because okay, wait, no, I did the math wrong. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I would say 1.
Yeah.
I'll shout him out. Pat Driscoll, I think, is the only one who has a great podcast about Degrassi, actually. My friend Pat Driscoll.
The Canadian one? Or the one with Drake, is it right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know the Degrassi from like the late 80s, early 90s with Wheels.
Yeah, well, that's Drake, right? Or no, was it? Are you telling me it was a reboot?
No, the one with Drake legitimately is a reboot, and someone please at me.
What?
No,
please at Miller_Dave.
I watched Degrassi when I was like 7, which would put that in like the 89 territory. And obviously Drake is not like 45.
Yeah, but if you watch Degrassi, the Degrassi Every Episode Ever marathon podcast with Pat and Rachel, Pat Driscoll, I think I've known him maybe like 5 years.
Yeah.
He's like a good friend, but that's like the only. But as adult, what I'm saying, in your 30s, you don't have like inner circle friends that you met that recently. You know,
it's rare. You get like a one here and there.
Right.
Yeah,
but, I mean, that's kind of their whole situation.
The only time probably, I've met some solid friends. I think maybe if like it ends up being the brother of like a girl you end up marrying possibly.
Right.
Or like the friend that sets you up, I guess.
Right, like an in-law becomes close later because, that's
true, yeah. Something like that. But yeah, it's weird. It almost seems like in every single one of their lives, something must have happened where they suddenly just had no friends to hang out with, where there was like this, hole to fill. Because what are the odds that one person on that elevator wasn't like, I mean, you guys are cool, but like I have friends. I'm an adult.
I know. Like, that's the thing. All these people must be holding serious secrets because none of them has a friend that goes back longer than 7 years. Like, no one does.
Yeah, because it's like, I could see that happening to me and, like, still being Instagram friends with those people. I mean, like, oh, look, this elevator guy, has a girlfriend with cancer. That's nice. Yeah. But it's like, I'm not going to Pizza Fridays.
Right, exactly. So it's like, Gary's standing hard for John, and it's like, man, John, like, don't tell Delilah how cool John is right now. Also, we were talking about trailers before, just in terms of things Gary said. I remember in the trailer, in the winter finale afterwards, we saw they were like, something shocking happened, and Gary says, "I can't believe we lost Maggie." And I don't think that line was actually in the episode itself, but they meant literally physically lost.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, and I think we called it then, where we're like, "There's not a chance that this is any." There's like, I think we were like, it has to be in like Lost in the Supermarket type situation, and it's like, it was.
Flash. Yeah. Outstanding song. But I noticed that. It's like, God dang it! That's how they tried to sucker us on that one. Was they just like physically lost her?
And I need to be a voiceover guy for a network.
You would be a great voiceover guy for a network. You just a good tone in general, a solid voice, a baritone, and then also you bring drama.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, I feel like there were a lot of in the previews. There was stuff that happened in this episode that was in like the recap before the episode. Like the $18 million was like in a preview, and then like another thing was like in the review. I feel like I knew some of the stuff before it happened, and it's like, all right, well, we're putting it out there. All the secrets.
I wrote down. It began with the trailer into John's video, which kind of sets up the winter season. Yeah. Because obviously John's video was still part of the trailer. Because no one knows about it, obviously. So I think it was just setting up like the second half of the season. It was kind of confusing.
I think it was part of the episode. I mean, you see Ashley like look at the camera at the end of the episode, so it's like she either knows about the video or is gonna find out about the video.
What other videos are they making in there?
I thought that's
I know.
Sorry. Don't apologize. That's for the web extras or whatever. For the Christina Ochoa Instagram. Pop it.
Yes.
Dave's a big fan. Dave's following. You should be following all these people on Instagram. They have pretty good game.
Also, the show itself doesn't have an official Insta. They have an unofficial page that has like 3,000 followers, but I took a picture of the glass of cab tonight.
Yeah.
And like they don't have an official Insta. We need to change that.
Yeah. ABC, holler at your boys and your girl.
Yeah, we'll be your official Insta.
Yeah. I guess let's talk Ashley stuff, since that's plot wise that's the other like real big thing I think here. So we're finding out that Ashley, she's continuing with her Hello Loki sneaky ways. It seems she's creeping into the bank and trying to take out a bunch of money.
Both sneaky and not sneaky, because she's working with Catherine to try and like help out Delilah. But then while Catherine and Delilah are at the bank trying to intimidate a guy into like getting into an account, Ashley's downstairs trying to take all the cash out of the account.
Right. Which seems evil.
Yeah, I mean, that from the beginning is like, I mean, she's definitely not doing this she's not like going to the Bahamas. She's not running away to Mexico on that money. She's like gonna do something okay with it, probably.
Right. They keep sort of trying to lean us towards like, oh, Ashley's being evil here.
She needs to almost get Constance Zimmer on board, who's Barbara, correct?
Right.
It's like she needs to get her on board.
Yeah, Constance Zimmer, and shout out to one of our listeners emailed us about this, and I forget. I'm sorry, I think it was Jenna was maybe her name, but if I'm misattributing that, I apologize. But pointed out much earlier in the season that Constance Zimmer made a brief appearance at the funeral, and was too big time an actress to just make an appearance like that and be gone. I mean, a solid Easter egg, because we're going into the 12th episode here, and Constance makes an appearance at the end, the very end of this episode, when Ashley's telling her, like, you owe the family this, and she's like, fuck that. Constance
paraphrased.
I'm paraphrasing, yeah. It would be great if they just dropped one hard fuck bomb in the middle of this network show.
Yeah, that's how you up the stakes before How to Get Away with Murder. Yes, Constance Zimmer is credited on IMDb as mourner in like one episode so far. Right. So that'll have to be updated. Also, this got very confusing before. I always confuse Constance Zimmer and Natasha Leggero. Which is why when Natasha Leggero did make an appearance in a previous episode as the woman in line, and I was like, that's Barbara Morgan? And it's like, nope, that's Natasha Leggero just being woman in line. Constance Zimmer is a separate thing. So
Appears
it's like...
to be maybe Barbara.
Yes, is Barbara. So it's like I kind of got them confused, but not as confused as I thought I did. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, you're in a prison of your own design.
I really am. It's horrible. You know what? No one's seen them in the same room together. They might still be the same person. Second conspiracy theory. I'm sticking with it.
Sure. Yeah, but it seems like Constance Zimmer, the actress, might be Barbara. It seems like that's a possibility here. And Catherine and her office friend tracked down
her gay assistant bestie is back. Recent addition to the show.
Yep, he's back in the mix and he's working hard out there. And the Watson to her Holmes is really out there and trying to figure stuff out. And that's how they find out that Ashley has been making payments. So she's been sneaky, trying to help them by taking money out. They closed the Rutledge account, and Rutledge, we thought, it's like, who is this Rutledge person? Turns out Rutledge isn't a person. Rutledge is an idea, basically.
It's a person and an idea.
Right. Rutledge, I guess, sucks at fixing elevators, and also...
Rutledge is the name of the person that inspected the elevator they got stuck in, and then became a shorthand between the group as, like, if we're in, like, a near-death experience, we say Rutledge, which means like take care of my family.
Right. So that is what this account is under, and that is what Ashley's been cashing out and seemingly making payments.
Exactly, and correct me if I'm wrong, because when it comes to, like, it's that thing where if I ask someone what they do for work, or you're getting to know someone, oh, I'm in sales, like, I don't get this, okay? I don't get marketing, I don't get sales. So Rutledge, correct me if you guys fill me in. Rutledge, we don't necessarily know what it is, because we know that she closed the account, got the cashier's check. Doesn't necessarily mean that she's being sneaky.
Right.
And we know how Gary mentioned, like, Rutledge is for, if someone dies. So the Rutledge account might not be, it could be beneficial to Delilah, hypothetically.
We think it is.
We think it is.
But...
Okay, I didn't know if I was, like, thinking the wrong thing. We think it could be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because I don't think there's any reason that John would have been being sneaky just for his own benefit.
Oh, because I keep seeing these trailers. John's a bad person.
Well, I just...
Exactly. I keep seeing John as a bad person cheating with Ashley.
Right, which he for sure did.
No, I did.
Because, like, he's flawed, but he's still a good guy. The Rutledge thing could be good.
Right. Well, I just mean because it's like, obviously he named it because that's the shorthand. Like, this is the account that's for taking care of my family when shit goes down. And I don't think he would name it that, for when episode 12 rolls around and people find out about it, and it's like, maybe they'll think it's a good thing. It's like, no, I think he named it that because that's what he meant it for. It doesn't mean that that's necessarily what'll happen, but I think he made it for that, to take care of, maybe even not necessarily his family, but could be everybody, his friends.
His chosen family as well. It'd be great if he was like, I'm creating the Rutledge account. That's to take care of you, fam. And it just means Ashley is fuck buddy.
I would love that twist.
That ass. That's my family. Take care of it.
This is my family now, dog. But it seems to back up Gary's position of he would have a plan to take care of the family. Although we don't see the amount on the check, so who knows? There could be, like, $20 in that account by now.
Yeah. And to be clear, like, John, just my opinion, John, still not great.
No.
Still
no.
Really kind of shit the bed overall, I think.
Yeah.
For
sure.
He left some money behind, cool. And, he left some money behind and a, quote, intriguing emotional mystery. And a lot of problems. And I do, and Gary, with all Gary's pumping him up, and you must have had a plan. The John I know, the John I met in the elevator, always knows how to fix things. And they're like, we didn't get him over the finish line. It is like, did you have $18 million? What the fuck could you guys have done? There's nothing, like, this guy got in pretty deep, it seems like. So.
Yeah, I guess he probably just meant emotional support. He could have joked his way out of John caring about owing $18 million, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe John and Gary are poly.
Yeah, John and Gary. I would love just every half-season finale ends with John just saying, Dave, give me the phrase.
Oh, I'm not the man that everyone thought I was.
And then he just makes out with Gary and closes the door. Just every half-season finale ends with John saying that phrase and then making out with a different character.
Yes,
the sick
please.
thing is, I'm already thinking about season 2.
Yeah, you're planning it out on the board.
Yeah.
I tell you what, at the end of the episode, they do like a Bachelor-style, very long preview for the whole season, and they say like, plus a twist of fate you'll never see coming. And I'm like, we might see it coming. However, if it is John making out with Gary, then even though technically now we do see it coming, that's one I would not see coming.
Yeah, that's one I'll throw my drink glass.
Yeah.
On top of that.
By the way, let me be the first on record to say season 2, I want it to be Sunday at 10 Eastern, the brothers and sisters slot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see it now with the brothers. It's also like used to be the Prime HBO slot.
Yes, it used to be the Prime kind of cable slot, and now with I don't watch like the. What are the
premium?
No, what are those shows that everyone's obsessed with? Oh, it's not coming back. Game of Thrones. Yeah,
I'm not a Game of Thrones guy.
Oh, it's not coming back till spring 2022.
We need 4 years to make the.
Maybe we move the show to HBO, so then Gary really fucks.
Then Gary fucks, and then Gary didn't fuck at all this episode.
Oh my! Is this the first time?
He's in love.
Yeah, and when you're in love, you stop fucking.
He probably intended to fuck when he walked in the apartment, and then he saw that Maggie was bald, and he was like, you know what? I'll give her today.
I'll give her. Yeah, let's jog first at least. Mm-hmm. But Rome fucks, and really that's all Rome did today. Rome fucks, which is great. I mean, honestly, if that's all you do today, still is a pretty good day. So Rome fucks. Also, he's talking about it a lot. Okay, a little bit spiking the football for me. Act like you've been there before. Hand it to the ref. That big a deal. But I understand it's been a while. He also talks about, I guess, storyline-wise, they need money because Delilah doesn't have the money anymore, really, to be Gina's partner at the restaurant. So he talks about going back to his directing job, directing commercials. And Gina's worried about it because he's recently gone off his meds and doesn't want him to go back and be depressed and stuff.
Yes. That's right. I keep thinking that was wholly funded by John, both on the Regina and the Delilah side, but I guess...
Right. Because he left them... Yeah, because wasn't it like he bought the location, maybe, right?
Yeah, I think they... Yeah, I don't know. I think basically the location was given to her, but I feel like the rest maybe Delilah was helping out. And they were like both going in on the other thing because I mean it's like he wouldn't have paid for like the food,
Right.
So I'm not really sure, but basically like they're kind of fucked if they also Delilah just needs a shit ton of money, so it's like either we have to make this restaurant work and make us money, or we got to sell the location to get money for put a chunk out of that 18 mil.
Right.
For
Maybe
Delilah.
Eddie's tour revenue will pay for it.
Eddie's tour revenue.
Yeah.
Eddie, who's never played a show. He's just ridden a bus and then creeped on a guy, the drummer, making out with someone, and like Skyped that to his child for some reason. And then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna surprise everybody back at home. Eddie, you haven't been on tour for one fucking episode. Eddie is less on tour than I am right now, and I'm one man by myself. I'm not opening for the Kings of Leon yet. I am, I'll be in Williamsburg, Virginia, January 25th, if anyone wants to see me. But yeah, he's so not on tour. That almost, nonsensically, that bothers me almost more than anything, is Eddie's leaving to go on tour and then just not doing anything. He's still home all the time. Why have this storyline? He came back immediately. There's no stakes to this.
Have him playing at local pop alleys. At least that's, he's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be more realistic, him getting back to it instead of just going on a big tour.
Sober playing music. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest takeaway.
Right, exactly. That would make a lot more sense to me. That's the thing where I feel like I don't criticize the actual writing and the putting together of the show that much. But the Eddie storyline specifically strikes the band stuff strikes me as mucho bullshit. It's just I can't get down with it.
I'm sorry. You're not into the Red Ferns?
I guess I'm not. Also, that's a really nice tour bus, and I say that as someone who has been on Willie Nelson's tour bus, which is also a nice tour bus. Looks very similar, actually. But yeah, it's weird because I think growing up, I always assumed tour buses are really big and wide open. But Willie Nelson's at least it looks like that. It's just a skinny one line. There's a couple of bunks.
It's luxury, but it's still very narrow. I feel like.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Just nice, but small. Yeah. Anyway, so Eddie's not really on tour. It's fake.
Yeah, that is not a storyline. He's going to be back every week.
Right.
He's going to be oh man, we got
rock star.
Yeah. Yep. He out.
Yeah. And then we got we got Gina. I guess we're talking about. She has she's talking to her mom.
Right.
Getting her mom to invest.
And her mom does call her out for saying that you don't want me to help out, you just need money from anyone, and then storms out right after her mom said something shitty. That seems to be the pattern. The mom says something shitty, and Gina's like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't hang out. And then the mom's like, hey, I want a relationship with you, and then leaves and call me if you want one.
Her mom's a baby. That's what I wrote down, is that Gina's mom is a baby.
Yeah, it's you technically have a point, I guess, but also if you're a mom and she's like, I just want to be in your life, and then that's her thing about why you should be nice to me. It's well, if you just want to be in her life, then fucking back the restaurant and then hang out with her and learn to be cooler so she wants to hang out with you. This is your in then.
Yeah, she almost acts like the prototypical in-law.
Right.
As if she was whatchamacallit's mom. Rome's.
Right, yeah, that's a great point. She acts like an in-law to her own daughter, basically, where she's meddling and not that close and never really offering anything, really, and then she's literally withholding cash until her daughter asks for it in the right way. It's just it's gross. Her mom, Gina's mom, is gross. I'm very much Team Gina. Except for I'm Team Gina not even apologizing about it at the end. I'm a big proponent of if you're the parent, be the parent, you should, don't be asking I feel like it's weird to be the parent and sitting back and being as my child, you make me feel wanted enough to to involve myself with you. No, fucking be supportive or don't. That's it. Because Gina doesn't need her. I mean, I guess she needs the money now, but she hasn't earned her spot at the table, I don't feel like, this mom.
Yeah, well, she's going to be coming back because Gina calls her at the end. I mean, she doesn't apologize, but she's she does say yeah, you're right. We need a fresh start, so call me whenever.
Yeah.
So mom's going to be around saying shitty stuff about the food at the restaurant. Buckle up.
Yeah. On a completely unrelated note, I found my new cover photo. No one can see it, but I'm pointing to my TV of John sitting taping the video.
We'll take a photo of it. We'll post it.
My obsession with Ron Livingston continues.
Yeah, we'll post it on the Instagram, which, by the way, our Instagram is at A Million Little Podcast. So follow us on Instagram there at A Million Little Podcast. And email us, amillionlittlepodcast@gmail.com as well. But yeah, we'll post that up. So yeah, Gina, things are going better in the bedroom. That's nice. Business, a little more complicated with mom. Let's talk about Maggie.
Maggie. Yeah, we start out at start out at chemo, Gare Bear and Maggie, and what I wrote down was, does Maggie have more hair now? And then,
right, was that a wig? That was a wig situation.
That was a wig. Right. It's hard to tell sometimes, just because it's like if you saw her in real life, you'd probably be like, oh, she has cancer, that's probably a wig. But it's like, because it's TV, it's like, was it a while between when they filmed this? Is it supposed to look like that? And then later, Gary walks in on her with her bald head before she's getting ready for a run, and it's like, oh, okay. And the wig is on the counter, so it's like, yep, all right. I was correct. That was weird.
And I thought it was a cool move of him to back out and not let her know.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to say something stupid.
Yeah, I think that's the right move.
Yeah, she had her headphones in, didn't know he was there, and he backed off so that she didn't, turn around in the mirror and see him like that. So that's nice. That was nice. That was a good move.
Also, in future scenes, I think I saw her with like a pink wig, so it'll be interesting to see if she has fun with it, because she has that kind of personality.
Right. Yeah, you can go wild with it, which I feel like I that's what I would do if I was. Yeah, you might as well. You can be a different person every day.
Go real Schitt's Creek.
Moira
with it.
Schitt's Creek. Yeah.
Schitt's Creek
one of the best characters on television right
now.
Yep. I also wrote down that, so she's got chemo. She's still trying to run this 5K. She's trying to keep her life as normal as possible. Running was something she always did. Mm-hmm. And even if she's not supposed to, doctors wouldn't recommend it right now. She's just like, you know what? I need to keep this.
Yes. She admits she's being irrational, and she just needs this right now to feel good.
Which I get, in a way, it reminded me of my mom's husband, Wally, who has diabetes but loves dessert and is still going to fucking eat dessert sometimes. And he thinks he knows he shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to fucking live my life and enjoy it. So that made me think of Walter.
Yes, that's right. He's living his best life, even if that means shooting himself up at the table with insulin while he eats a pastry.
Yep, even if it's busting you up. You gotta, I respect basically taking one thing and being like, I'm gonna keep this. No matter what life does to me, this is something I enjoy, I'm gonna keep.
Right. She runs the 5K, Sophie's 5K. And she's taken off real fast. She's not pacing herself. She leaves Gary in the dust, and then predictably she has to stop and just sit on the side and cries about it.
Right.
Which I get. And I was like, oh man, I get that. I've done that at the gym, and I do not have cancer.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. In two ways that relates to thoughts I had. I thought also, I was like, oh, that feels like Jamie. He stops running to cry. And then also I was like, man, seeing just like people dealing with cancer, even on TV, it really makes your problem seem small, which sounds like such a trite thing to say. But it is like, oh man, I don't have cancer, and that's nice. Like, that is, like, just, in real life, watching people fucking live their lives with genuine problems like that.
Oh yeah, that's why I follow. There's a Holocaust survivor that lives in my hometown, Terre Haute, Indiana, and she's active on Twitter. Her name is Ava Moses Kor, Kor, if you want to give her a follow. And she does a lot. I mean, she's extremely old, obviously, so it's like her Twitter game is not great. Like, her sentences are like sometimes nonsensical, lots of exclamation marks. But it's like, a lot of like, on this day I was in my bunk and, rats had eaten the bread that I had managed to scavenge from something. And like, and then we heard the American planes above and I knew that I would live. And I'm like, yeah, I can run around the park today. It's like, it honestly does like help me get out of my own head sometimes when I'm just like whiny about whatever stupid problem I have. And it's like, yes, I am fine. And I can do whatever this is.
And I thought at the end, so basically she can't run, and then they do find her. God, we lost Maggie. Oh, we found her. Then they find her.
Gary finds her, and also, I mean, I was already like, yes, and then she's like, I hate that I'm weak, and then I'm nauseous, and I hate that my body won't do what I need it to do, and I was like, oh man, I've said all this stuff in my head, and I do not have cancer.
Yeah, you're fine. But then they help her, they basically come back and they cheer her, and they help her to the finish line, finishing last place, and I wrote down specifically, Jamie would hate this.
I wrote down specifically, I would hate this.
There we go. We've been together a while.
People telling me I'm doing a good job when I'm doing a bad job is my least favorite thing.
The well-meaning, patronizing support.
Yes, that's a articulate way to put it. Yes.
How do you feel about it, Dave?
Well, it's just like opening up a birthday gift or a present in general. I just don't. Yeah, I feel uncomfortable.
You don't like being watched.
Yeah,
like you don't like the. Yeah.
Yes.
Just the focus on you.
Yeah, I'd feel
it's well intentioned, and that's also part of the problem because you can't get mad at the people because they're doing it because they like you and they want to help you.
Sure.
So it's like you're also the asshole if you yell at them, but also you hate it. The only good thing was that like they like make a little makeshift, like ribbon for her to like cross at the finish line, and one of the kids yells, "Go Margaret." And it's like...
I thought that was Danny. Yeah, I heard that.
I thought it was Danny, too. And I was like, it's probably Theo because it's weird. But I was like, I did enjoy that. One kid... Yeah, everyone's like, Maggie, Maggie. And someone yelled, "Go Margaret." I was like, that...
Wait, doesn't Danny have a weird name thing with Gary, or am I completely making that up?
Garrison.
Yeah.
He's
Yes, so it probably was Danny. Danny was my instinct, and then I talked myself out of it. But yes.
Nice detective work, everybody. Yeah, one of Danny's quirks is he calls everyone by their full name. You'd be a David.
That's fine by me.
David over here. Everyone, send us gifts for Dave's birthday, May 7th. Correct, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, May 7th, and then I'll get him to open it and feel weird about it.
That'll be a YouTube podcast.
Yeah, we'll YouTube that. Which, by the way, our podcast is on YouTube, too. So if you listen to podcasts on YouTube, we automatically post all of them to YouTube as well. So feel free to check us out there. Also, I should say, since this was a 5K thing, Jamie and I have run a 5K.
That donut thing, right?
Yeah, cupcake. Very close, though.
Yeah.
We've run a cupcake 5K in Astoria, Queens each year for the past,
Speaking of being nauseous and your body not working.
Right. You have to stop and eat 3 full, thick gourmet cupcakes.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was your reward for finishing.
No.
It should be, right? No, you have to eat one every mile.
And there's 200 people that run this race, and I've finished top 10, definitely top 10 this year. And I forget if it was top 10 last year, but you were 15th or something, right, Jamie?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but we both finished top 15 out of 200 in this Cupcake 5K. So
there are a lot of walkers. I'm going to just put it out there.
Yeah, but not 150,
Sure.
People really run 5Ks at this fucking thing. Also, my Cupcake 5K time's pretty good. It's
I'm impressed.
25 and change, which is pretty good, stopping and eating 3 full-ass cupcakes.
Yeah, and the rule is that you have to at least have the whole cupcake in your mouth before you leave the cupcake station. So you can't just stroll and eat this cupcake. You have to basically shove it all in your mouth and keep walking. Some people cheat, and it's man, cheating at a cupcake 5K is also, if you cheat by not eating the cupcakes, it's at least cheat by not, then just don't run. Go to a real 5K if you want to get a good time and not eat cupcakes. The fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, frosting it up. The year before, 2 girls just cut half the course in front of me. And that made me finish 7th. And I was like, oh, fuck this. How are you cheating? Anyway, I want to give a special shout out to Gina and her mom for drinking red wine during the show. Dave and I were watching the show with Dave's Cabernet. This episode is brought to you by Two Vines Cabernet from 2014.
The Cabernet you buy when you don't get paid to do a podcast.
Yes.
Casper mattress. Support this pod. Jamie and I did just buy a Casper mattress. I refuse to tell you how good it is or how bad it is until they sponsor us. So you'll just have to wonder. So the last real significant thing that I wanted to point out was we talked about it a little bit, the flashback to the elevator scene where they all met. And John did the old, he comes in kind of D-baggy, being Mr. Hotshot the whole time. don't talk on the phone going into in an elevator or on a subway. Don't talk on a phone in enclosed public spaces in general. Also, don't listen to music without headphones. There's a bunch of just polite notes. But conversation starter. If you could have dinner with anyone, was the conversation starter. So question for you guys, that question, and also, do you have a go-to conversation starter? Like that.
If it's anyone, I gotta go with Jesus. I'm sorry. I gotta ask him if the rumors are true.
Dave's going, not only dinner with Jesus, but he wants the dirt. That's great.
I want the dirt, and then the conversation starter.
That's a great choice.
It's a classic for a reason. It'd be a good dinner.
I'll just let's say conversation starter. I'll go with the women angle because that's juicier.
Which is what?
I'm trying to think. Well, how do I usually?
You're talking conversations.
You asked me what is my go-to conversation.
If you have.
Yeah, I'll do it for if I'm looking to speak with a girl.
Yeah. One of my favorite. It's not a conversation starter, but Dave was talking to me about like he ended up going out for drinks with this girl that he ran into at one of our school reunions. And she was like into it, it seemed, and then shows up at the date and was just drinking Diet Cokes. And Dave was like, fuck it, I'm having a dirty martini.
I had too.
Exactly. I think it was like a grade school reunion. But yeah.
My new thing now is I probably have a nail fetish, who knows? But I'll be like, oh, your nail game on point. Or, I love those, I do like to compliment accessories.
Compliments and accessories to begin things, and then get into it that way. I think I know the answer to this. Go ahead, Jamie.
What, do I have a conversation starter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard no. I'm just flailing at all times and trying not to make an ass of myself.
Yeah.
Usually it's what's up, and then, brain panic.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I really have one. I don't think I don't really have a conversation starter. I just like talking about as real and as deep shit as we can as quickly as I can.
Yes.
Confirming that's what I do.
That's what you do, and also what I want to do. Also, I'm no good at. I can only sustain small talk for so long.
Yeah. I want to talk about, your deepest sadnesses, regrets, or things you love the most, whatever. Those are.
Oh, well, my ideal is if I just meet someone at a party and I'm like, how's it going? And they're like, not great. I'm like, all right, okay. now we definitely have something to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at, I'm always the how's it going guy. I hate that.
No, but so is everyone. So is everyone in the world. One of my favorites, we just passed the New Year. And we used to host a New Year's party in New York every year. We went to a New Year's party this year. It was very fun until I blacked out. My first blackout of the year. First blackout in a long time. Real bummer. I almost made it through the whole year. Lost it at the buzzer. But
it was post midnight, so
What's that?
It was post midnight, so
yeah. It was probably post 3 a.m., but still, we didn't leave till 7 a.m. and I lost a lot of those hours, so that's not a great feeling. But one of my good friends, this guy Rick Pecoraro, at one of the parties we hosted, at one of my favorite conversation beginners ever, someone just said so how was this year? It was 2007 was ending. So what do you think? How was 07? And he just goes, not great. And I was like, yeah, man, my 07 sucked ass too, and it was a great conversation.
Yeah.
It's great. Nice to be real. Cool. But I think that's all I had. I'm sure we're at an hour, right, Jamie? You're looking at the playtime.
53 and 30 seconds.
Great. You got anything you guys want to bring up before we bounce here?
I just had the elevator flashback, so you covered that. My thing is, where did you guys think that was? Was that a possible parking garage? Or did they say and I missed it? Because you know what I mean?
Why would all four of them be in the same elevator? Because they're all in different jobs.
Good question. Yeah.
I don't know if I missed it. I'm thinking a parking garage.
I did wonder that, and I feel like he was in a building. I don't know. I got the vibe that they were still in the building, but yeah, I don't know. They were trying to go to P1, so that might be a parking level. But I feel like they were elsewhere though.
Okay, yeah, good point.
But that is a good question, and because how do those 4 people? They all have different jobs. What are they doing in this building together? John's buying it, and then what's Eddie doing? Not being on tour, probably.
That's the thing. Like we have like Sears Tower and stuff. You have different lines of work. Obviously, Rome does the advertising. Eddie, we don't know what he does. Gary. Gary mentioned in an early
He's
episode.
Insurance.
Yeah, insurance. So, I want to know what
I mean, in a big fancy building, you could have insurance, some kind of like, commercial, some kind of like entertainment, like office, some kind of production office, and like maybe a music something, some kind of producer, something or other.
You guys ever been in the elevator with anybody notable? You ever shared an elevator with somebody interesting?
Mario Lemieux for me. That was after I shook his hand.
Mario Lemieux, arguably the second greatest hockey player of all time. That's pretty good. After you shook his hand, where? At the
press box of United Center when I was interning.
Yeah.
And he was part owner of those Penguins.
Right.
So, like, he was in the visiting section, and I was obviously...
And you were working for the Blackhawks at the time. Yeah. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's good. I was in the elevator with Martin Short once.
With Martin Short?
Uh-huh.
Who is Jamie's hall pass, she says all the time. That's her guy. Yep.
Yeah, I was proud of myself that I didn't... I mean, basically I didn't say anything, but I didn't say anything stupid.
Did you... so you said nothing?
Yeah. I think maybe I, laughed at something. I mean, there were other people in the elevator also, so... And, Martin Short was, being entertaining. But, he's someone where I feel like, where people are like, oh, people look weird when they're not on TV. I feel like he looks exactly like he does on TV.
Yeah.
Because he already looks sort of weird on TV, and it's just like, no, that was pretty much it in the elevator.
What's funny, I used to, right out of college, I worked for Paul Schaefer in the CBS Orchestra at Letterman briefly. So I also hung out in a room with Martin Short once where I was just basically rewinding and playing a tape while they wrote a comedy song together for to be played on The Late Show.
So fun.
But then in an elevator with Martin Short, that's pretty good.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, Google Martin Short on The Late Show or YouTube it, and Springtime Makes Me Want to Cheat on My Wife. It's a very good
He did a song. He was always great on Letterman. Would obviously, but casually break into song. And Springtime Makes Me Want to Cheat on My Wife is tour de force. But yeah,
I just read that he left SNL after 1 year to spend more time with his family.
Very good. Yeah, he had that all-star. He came on that year when it was him and Christopher Guest and Billy Crystal and Harry Shearer. I think each did 1 year as big free agent signings at SNL. But that's pretty cool. Cool. Elevator done. I think that's it. We got the big Rutledge news. We got everything. We finished the 5K. Ashley low-key sneaky, but then, it seems like for nice reasons. Delilah, began with Delilah babyface turn, although it's her babyface turn is not really her doing anything good necessarily. It's just that John is bad.
Yeah, her being for the victim.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more her just being like, oh, we're both bad. Also, by the way, she is not pregnant.
Right. When she was running, I totally, and we do a fucking podcast.
I don't want her to be.
We do a podcast about this show, so we've seen all of it, but so we should be caught up on it. But as she was running, I'm like, there's no way Delilah can't finish a 5K. And then they're like, oh, you're pregnant. It's like, oh yeah. Are you?
Yeah, because she's running hard at the beginning and thinking about all her problems. And I was like, she's going to run that baby out of her. And then I was like, wait, is she still pregnant? And then her daughter's like, oh no, are you okay? Because you're pregnant, basically. I was like, yeah, she doesn't look, she's like, yeah, she's not going to look pregnant until literally the scene where she delivers that baby.
Right. So that leads us into, I'll do the quick music wrap up, the music on the show. Dog Days Are Over. Florence and the Machine, great workout song. That's what she was running to, making her baby face turn.
It's on my running mix.
Mm-hmm. Too High by Moon Taxi, and Too High is spelled T-W-O high. And then Black Sun by Death Cab for Cutie. Were that's the 3 songs that I tracked from this episode.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, strong start with Florence.
Yeah, so thanks for listening, everybody, and joining back with us. Please, if you haven't, subscribe, give us a review and a rating, if you wouldn't mind. I'm Kevin McCaffrey. Jamie McCaffrey is running the soundboard today. Dave Miller here hosting it in his apartment in Chicago while I'm here for the weekend. Thanks for hosting again, Dave.
Absolutely.
And for bringing a cab.
Sure.
You can follow us at A Million Podcast on Twitter. At A Million Podcast on Twitter, at A Million Little Podcast on Instagram, and A Million Little Podcast at gmail.com. Email us there. Anything else?
Grey's Anatomy's terrible.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week on A Million Little Podcast.
A Million Little Bite.